Congressman Jeff Van Drew, a one-time Democrat who became a Republican in 2019. Congressman, what do you think are the prospects? We hear a lot of Democrats, including the president, saying that they want to pass Build Back Better, and they're basically going to stop at nothing until they get it done. What are the prospects, do you think?
Well, it reminds me so forcefully of why I changed and why I became a Republican, and I'm a proud Republican. Let me say to you, this is nuts. I mean, this is the worst administration that we've ever seen in our history, the worst president. I really believe he needs a cognitive test. And then they have a bad bill. I call it the big bad bill. Everybody's got another name for it, that does so many things that harms the real integrity and structure of this country, whether it is, amnesty for undocumented, whether it is going into people's personal checking and savings accounts and hiring 80,000, IRS workers and spending $8 billion to do so, to invade your privacy, new taxes, new fees, new costs, new red tape. I mean, this is a really, really bad bill. And to think that after all that they've done, which has been so awful over the past year, I don't know how they could ever recover, but they are going to decide to go down the same road and even make things worse. I find that hard to believe. I don't think it's going to go. I think there's a few moderates that are still left in that party, in the majority party, the Democratic Party, that are getting closer to their election. I can't imagine they'd want to do it. They're going to lose anyhow, but this just even makes it worse. I don't understand their mind. I don't understand what they're thinking.
There aren't many in the Democrat caucus more liberal than Pramila Jayapal of Washington. Here is what she writes in the Washington Post. She says, the Progressive Caucus will continue to work toward legislation for Build Back Better, focusing on keeping it as close to the agreed upon framework as possible. At the same time, we are calling on the president to use executive action to immediately improve people's lives. Now, it's not generally, it's rare, I guess, for a member of Congress to say, hey, executive branch, here, take this power, take the power of the purse that we are supposed to control in Congress and start spending money. But that's what she seems to be saying.
Well, I mean, she's almost pushing this like, this was a dictatorship. It's not. We are a republic. Obviously, Congress has to be involved, number one. And by the way, they're worried about Build Back Better. They ought to be worried about, the policy that they have on COVID, because it has changed not once, not twice, not three times, not four times, not five times. Nobody knows what's going on. Nobody knows really when the testing is going to come, or even if it does. Are they going to change their energy policy? Maybe that would be something that would make sense and help them, because we have dropped down so far in energy. Are they going to have a stronger presence in, the world stage and then foreign affairs, because we are on our knees to China, on our knees to Russia, even though the president won't admit it, on our knees to Iran. I mean, they have made so many mistakes in 1 year. It's almost mathematically impossible to believe it's true, but it is. And it's a shame, and it's hurting America. We're on the precipice, literally, of a country that's going to fail if we don't stop doing this. And we are going to stop. And that's what those November elections are going to do.
Real quickly, I want to put up some of the legislative items that the Democrat-controlled Congress has failed to pass, Build Back Better being one of them. The voting rights bill, the appropriation bills to fund the government, immigration reform, police reform, gun reform, raising the minimum wage. They tried to convict President Trump of in impeachment charges. The China competitiveness bill. The list goes on and on. What has the majority party accomplished thus far under the Biden presidency, Congressman?
They've accomplished virtually nothing. And I'm not being mean-spirited, and I'm not being partisan. There's just nothing there. It's been a year of agony for Americans from beginning to end, and this is just an example of it. And by the way, the bills that they say they want to pass, and you just ticked off some of them, a list of them, they're bad bills. They would hurt our system of democracy. They would hurt our voting rights. They would actually hurt in so many different ways all that we want to see for America, and substantively change the America that we know and that we love. This president should get a cognitive test. this president probably should move on and resign. And God help us, I don't think the vice president would be any better, probably worse. But this has just been a terrible time. So I don't think anything they do at this point in time can really change where they're going to be in November. People want to change. I talk to people every day, and whether they're moderates or conservatives, whoever they are, and many of them are Democrats, and they just really believe it's time for us to do better. I mean, look what we're doing to people with COVID now, and the misinformation and the complicated information that's coming out. We were told so many lies. We were told if you got the shot, John, you'd be okay. Then you had to get a booster, then you'd be okay. We all know people who've gotten the booster, gotten the shot, and still have gotten COVID. Bottom line is, this is not a real vaccine. It's still good we have it, but this is a injectable therapeutic that helps. But we're a long way off for where we should be.
Congressman Jeff Van Drew of New Jersey, formerly a Democrat, now a Republican. Thank you.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
And to you.